Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builder Supply. This video is to bring you a closer look at the Donjo. This is their part number 9102-620. This is a strike plate, the 9102. It is what's called an extended lip strike because the lip length is longer than normal, so it's an extended lip length. And the 9102 specifically refers to its dimensional properties, along with the fact that its packaging is in a bag, meaning it's not really intended for retail display. If you needed this same strike in a retail package, it would simply be a different part number, which we'll touch on later on. The 9102 means that this strike is going to be 2¼ inch tall, because this is what we refer to as either a full lip strike, but a D strike, the letter D. If you use your imagination, you can certainly see why we call it a D strike. The 9102 means it's 2¼ tall, but it means that it's 2½ inch wide. But you'll notice when I measure this, it's 2½ or about. However, strikes are measured from the center line of the screw hole to the edge of the lip. 2 inch. Okay. The 620 in the part number means the finish. This is antique nickel. A fairly nice representation of antique nickel. I'm not sure what this base material is, but it's my opinion. My opinion is that it's brass, because stainless steel will have a marginal amount of magnetism where this working of this return lip is, which is a very important feature actually to proper strike installation and how they work. Having a nice large surface area for the back of the the latch bolt to rest against is appropriate. So I'm tempted to say it's brass and not stainless with the antique nickel finish on it. Antique nickel is a nice color that's fairly popular. Okay, a couple of screws are going to be included. Now, why do you need an extended lip strike? And in fact, this strike is probably about 5/8, 11/16, or 3/4 inch greater than standard. Okay, being 2 inch. Standard's about 1 5/16 inches. Why would you need this? Very simply, your casing is thicker than standard on the door. You might have a backband scenario or some sort of stepped casing that simply is causing the latch bolt to strike the casing prematurely before it gets to the lip of the strike. So by making that lip length longer, the latch is going to hit that first before it closes. Okay, that's the common situation, whether it be an interior application where you'll see custom double stacked or excessively thick casing, or an exterior door that swings out where you have brick mold. Brick mold is thick. You might have shutters. You might have a circumstance by which the wall is literally coming up to the frame flush, and you're literally hitting the wall construction before you're hitting the wood. Very common scenario of that is when you would use a raised barrel hinge, where your door is pushed into the opening a little bit further. Let's back up a little bit. Let's back up to the point where the door on the pull side, if you ever notice the door, a door is generally inset into the frame ever so slightly. That's called the inset. It can be 3/32 of an inch. That'd be very common. Could be a little bit less, could be a little bit more, could be a lot more, could be inches more. Why would you have that? Well, you might have an exterior wood door and wood frame where there's been jamb extensions added because you need 5½ inch, and what was sent to the job site is 4 9/16. Okay, or you might just have a really thick wall and you have the door pushed in substantially, and you literally need a longer lip because the door is so much further in the frame, just because of the way it was built. That scenario, you might need raised barrel hinges. or wide throw hinges. That could be common as well. You'll also see extended lip strikes used in custom furniture applications, like in a kitchen where you've got trim that is on everything, all the cabinets, the face of the appliances, etc. Well, the pantry that's there in the kitchen, that's disguised as well, very much like everything else. You might need a piece of specialized strike hardware for your lock set that's there. Now, there's a link below this video to a document called Template that will allow you to review all of the dimensional properties beyond what I've provided. It's also going to give you a reference to 605 polished brass, 609 antique brass. They can obviously do 620 antique nickel, 619 satin nickel. They can do 630, which is stainless steel. That would be a brushed finish. And they're telling you that the thickness of the strike is .050. Common thickness that you're going to see used in trim and auxiliary. Trim, hardware, flat goods really is what I'm trying to say. There's then a link below this video to a document called Product Catalog where you can review all things strike plate related from this manufacturer. And if you were to do a find function on your keyboard and type in 9102, you'll get to the page where you see the 9102 and all of its sister products, how that part number changes as the lip dimension changes, and the pro tip is the EL part numbers. Let's say the display package version of the 9102, that's going to be the EL-102. If you're a lock shop or a hardware store and you're buying this stuff, this client is not. I can tell this client is not. But if you want to display this material in a retail environment, you would want the EL-102 because it's ready for presentation in a retail environment. Obviously, they cost a little bit more because the packaging is more than a bag, a couple of bags. But I do like the fact that they certainly insulate those screws in another bag from the hardware. You'll notice there's no damage on the strike as a result. Not every manufacturer does that, believe it or not. But that catalog, the product catalog, is nice because you might find that the 2 3/4 tall version will work better, etc., whatever the case is. Not only extended lip strikes that are there, but all of the strikes from Danjo. Finally, there's a link below this video to the manufacturer's page where you can pull up not only all of the Danjo products that we sell, but a link to the manufacturer's website, as well as a link to the full product catalog, but then all of the subsections of the catalog. And if you know the name Danjo at all, you'll know them from door reinforcing wraparound plates or latch protectors, because that's what everyone knows them of. But they're a comprehensive provider of trim and auxiliary hardware, and in fact, they're a good one. A relatively petite footprint in the industry with what they supply, but they do it very well. They do it all the time. They do it repeatably, predictably, reliably. They're occasionally able to produce, you know, the proverbial rabbit out of the hat scenario with getting something shipped. And in the rare instance that they make a mistake, they make it good immediately. Rarely it happens, but when it does, they're very good about it, exceptional about it, in fact. Any questions on the Danjo 9102 extended lip strike in a 620 antique nickel finish or any other Danjo product, please feel free to reach out to us. Thank you.